You wanted to know how I made this lantern, so I made another one. My last video got a lot of attention, and many of you asked how I made the little lantern, the one that even glows in the dark. So today I'll show you, by building a new one. I started with a paper mock-up to get the shape right, then transferred it onto scrap cardboard. Cut, fold and shape until you have a basic form. That's what I used as a base for the paper maché layer later. I wrapped the cardboard piece in cling film, built a simple base out of more cardboard, and taped everything together. Then I mixed wood glue with water, tore thin layers of kitchen paper, and started applying them. Keeping it to just 2 or 3 layers makes the lantern thin enough to let the light shine through. Next, I cut a circle from EVA foam, I heated it, and gave it a slight curve. For the lid, I wanted a lotus flower look, so I cut 6 petals, shaped them with heat, and taped them into place to test the fit. Once I was happy, I sanded the edges and glued them on, petal by petal. I made a second row of petals and taped it on temporarily, so I could remove it later for painting. For details, I heated leftover warbler, rolled it into a strand and used it to form a vine-like swirl and a little loop for hanging. After priming with wood glue, I let everything dry overnight. The next day, the lantern body was ready to paint. I used very diluted acrylics to keep it translucent, shaded with warm orange tones and added some subtle textures. Then I carefully removed it from the base and added another coat of glue inside for strength. Meanwhile, I painted the petals and trimmed the lantern to its final shape. For the light, I cut a cardboard disc to fit inside. Then added a hole for the battery tea light. To connect the lantern and lid, I used small magnets. First, marked their positions with a needle, then hot glued them in carefully, making sure they lined up the right way. With that, the lantern could be clicked onto the lotus lid. I glued the candle in place, so the switch stayed accessible. Then I set the whole cardboard disc with the candle inside the lantern. I placed a few painted leaves around the base, gluing them on one by one. That way, the lantern looked more balanced, the gaps between the lotus petals were filled, and the transition between the lotus lid and the rim of the lantern was nicely hidden. To make sure the magnets would meet properly, I built up a small spacer inside the base from foam. With that in place, I checked the alignment and then glued the second magnet disc into the lotus lid on top. With the magnets aligned and working, I completed the build by adding the second row of petals with the loop on top. And with that, the lantern was finished. And here's the result! A glowing little lotus lantern flickering beautifully in the dark. Finally, I crafted a hook so I could hang it in my craft room. I hope you enjoyed this build. Let me know what I should show you next.